Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope y'all are well. My name is Jacob Potu. I am your professor, and this is Texas Government 2306. So I hope everyone is in the right class. Um, if not, just reach out to your advisor and get that figured out. Okay, so today, what I would like to do in this video is go through my syllabus, go through every bit of it so you folks feel like you know what's going on. I know when it's online, things can feel a little disconnected, so please use this video as a guide for how to think about the course, how to think about your assignments and what your workload is and all of that. So, yeah, hopefully this syllabus walkthrough will be helpful for you folks. Cool. Okay, so first let's talk textbook. We are Governing Texas by Anthony Champagne, Edward Harpham et al., 5th edition. The textbook comes with Inquisitive. Inquisitive is it's made by the company that makes the textbook. It's like the online learning resources. It's a type of assignment basically. But it comes with the ebook, and you need both of them. So you very much need the book, and you very much need the ebook that comes with the Inquisitive. I hope that makes sense. I cannot stress that enough. The Inquisitive assignments are 10% of your grade. That's how the content, all of the chapter content is going to be given to you. So you absolutely need it. Yeah, you absolutely need it. Okay. So yeah, honestly, the first thing you need to do is get your ebook and get your Inquisitive linked up. Now, the way you do that, let's talk about that real quick, is everything is through Canvas. So this is our course. And if you go to modules, this is where you should hang out every day when you log into Canvas for this class. That's how I have it set up. Chapter 1 module, Chapter 2 module, Chapter 3 module, etc. So in every module, you have a link to the ebook chapter, and you have a link to the Inquisitive assignment per chapter. And as you will see, there's an Inquisitive assignment for every chapter. So that's, again, why it's so important that you need to get it. But anyway, the way you get set up for your ebook and Inquisitive is by logging into Canvas and clicking on on either the ebook or the Inquisitive. I'm already logged in, but if you click on it, it's going to, let's see what happens if I do it in student view. Maybe nothing. If you click on it, it will prompt you to enter an activation code, and if you don't, it'll say, I don't have an activation code, I'd like to purchase it. Okay, this is exactly what it is. So, have you already registered? I have. Y'all haven't. So you would say, no, I need to register, purchase, or sign up for trial access. So you need to do that. When you select which option you want to purchase, I highly recommend you do the ebook that comes with the Inquisitive option. That's, I believe, $40. If you do the Inquisitive by itself, it's $25, but I don't recommend that because then you wouldn't have the book. So I just urge you to buy the book that comes with the Inquisitive. If you want to buy the textbook in a hard copy that isn't an ebook, you will not get the Inquisitive with it. So you would have to buy that additionally. So I don't know what that would cost. That's up to you. But yeah, just get the ebook and the Inquisitive. Just go for that option. If there's any issues, just shoot me an email and we'll figure it out. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's the ebook. That's how you get to it. You get to it through Canvas. So that's, yeah, like the main thing you need to do today. All right, let's get back to the syllabus. Okay, so let's talk about the grading breakdown and categories of assignments and all that. Okay, so first we have inquisitive assignments. I'll go over those a little bit I'll go through that in a little bit more detail. So like I said, every week there is an inquisitive assignment that corresponds with that chapter. The inquisitives are an online evaluation tool, but it's really in the form of a game. So you answer the questions in like a game format, and you can kind of like leverage your points, and or leverage how sure you are of it, and if you think you're sure and you guess right, you get bonus points, and it's a game. A lot of people really like it. If you don't like it, I do have an optional assignment that's basically just the same questions but in multiple choice format. You can do that if you want. That would replace the inquisitive. But really that's just there for people that just absolutely do not like the inquisitive methodology, or like don't like the way that assignment works. It's really up to you. But that's inquisitive. You need to do it every week. And then let's do online assignments next. So online assignments is just what I call any assignment, any weekly kind of assignment that isn't an inquisitive. Now, when I say weekly, I'm not going to have these assignments for every week, but for some weeks I will have an additional assignment in the module. That would be the online assignment. So in our case, let's look at the first week. This is where we are right now. Political compass. This is an assignment I made. This is the first of the online assignments. So yeah, you won't have them for every week. You have one for this week, and then I think we've got one. I think that's the only one we have for the first unit. We do have an extra credit one over here, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so this political compass, this would be an example of an online assignment. The best way to know what you have to do is whenever you're in the module, in the chapter module, it basically is the same as the week. So this is chapter 1, week 1. Look at all the things that have point values. So chapter 1 inquisitive, 10 points, that's an assignment. Political compass, 10 points, that's an assignment. All of those are just resources. They're not assignments. Those are flashcards. Oh, this is that optional chapter 1 assignment. This one is you could do this one or the inquisitive. You can do one or the other. It doesn't matter to me. But you don't have to do this one if you do the inquisitive. But yeah, look for the things with point values. Everything else are just resources, or like down here, these are my notes. Introduction to Political Culture. I haven't posted a video for the Texas Constitution. I will do that. That's another thing. Let me talk about that real quick. Political Culture video lecture. This is just a YouTube link to a video lecture that I made last semester about political culture, so I just thought I'd link you to it. But yeah. So anyway, inquisitive, online assignment. Those are the two categories that we've talked about so far. And you'll have an inquisitive every week. You'll have an online assignment on some weeks, but not all. Next, let's talk about media analyses. So media analyses are going to be assigned at the same time that the exams are. They're both meant to like punctuate the end of a unit. So our first unit is chapters 1 through 3. So you would have the media analysis and the exam after chapter 3. So the media analysis is, you're going to find it in the exam module. So for this assignment, You will select a video from this playlist that I've provided. It's a YouTube playlist, or find media of your own, and you have to answer 3 questions. What was the main argument? What evidence was used? And do you agree? Why or why not? I don't know. That's probably not very much context. But if you look at my playlist, there's like 200 videos, and it's like it's very much all political stuff. Lately, this is what's been going on in the world. So that's what's the newest, but I've got, some stuff that's comedy, some stuff that's news, some stuff that's left, some stuff that's right, some stuff that's like highly profound, some stuff that's propaganda. There's just tons of stuff in here. So just find a video that you think is interesting, watch it, and then answer those 3 questions. What was the main argument? What evidence was used? And do you agree? Sometimes there isn't always like hard evidence. Sometimes it's just like reasoning. So just, make that statement. The person didn't necessarily use facts or data, but they were still using maybe personal experience or an anecdote or what they've heard from someone else or a story or whatever. And again, you don't have to agree with what they're saying, but just let me know what it was, what evidence they were using. And then, the third part is, do you agree, why or why not? I prefer you separate them by question. Like, you can literally just number it 1, 2, and 3, and then respond in each section. I'm looking for about 200 words total. It doesn't have to be super long, but I do want it to be, like, at least a fleshed out thought. Like, it needs to be more than a quip. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. So that's the media analysis. There will be one of those whenever there's an exam, which means there will be 4 media analyses because there are 4 exams. Okay. Exams. Let's talk about those. So let's go down here. I do not think that exams should be difficult. I just don't think they should if they don't have to be. So basically, folks, I've devised a bit of a system. I think it works pretty well. And the system is essentially, if you follow my system, I can almost guarantee you're going to do fine on the exam. So here's how it works. Basically, everyone's exam is the same, but it will not be identical. And that is because the way that exams are designed, there is a test bank for each chapter. Let's say chapter 1 has 50 questions and chapter 2 has 60 questions and chapter 3 has, 45 questions or whatever. So for exam 1, which would be over chapters 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to have the test randomly select questions from each chapter's test bank, right? So there might be 15 questions per test bank, and those questions would be randomly pulled. So your exam might be a little bit different than the next person's. But the way that I allow you to study for this is by opening up a shorter version of the exam with the same questions. It's just less, instead of randomly selecting 15 questions or 20 questions from each chapter, it'll randomly select 6 questions. So instead of a 45 question exam, it's more like a 20 question exam. Now what I do is let you take the review multiple times, basically as many times as you want. So that would let the law of averages feed you all of the questions that might pop up, because over time you would get more and more of those questions in those question banks. So if you take that exam review 3 or 4 times, you're going to be familiar with pretty much all the questions. And then when you take the actual exam, you're going to have seen all the questions before, or you're going to have seen one that's basically the exact same. It's just worded slightly differently, So basically, I let you study for the exam by taking a shortened version of the exam. I mean, I think that's kind of brilliant, honestly. And if you do the exam, if you do the exam review, even just once, and even if you do really poorly on it, I will still give you 5 points on your exam just for doing the review once. I kind of want you to do it multiple times. I want you to do the review like 3 or 4 times, but Just doing it once will get you 5 points extra on your exam. So I hope that makes sense. Oh, and here's another thing. Here's another reason why the inquisitive assignments are important. The inquisitive assignments, the content that you're going to get fed in that format, the format's different, but the content is exactly the same. The questions are the same. The concepts are the same. So if you're doing your inquisitives and or those optional assignments and you're doing the exam review, you're going to know all of the questions that may pop up on that test bank. So, like, really, if you follow the system, if you do the necessary prep work, you will be fine. You'll be fine. And I will, I'm always available to help. Essentially, I just don't think, I think exams should be, I don't know. I don't know. I'll probably put a cut there. No, let's say I just don't think exams should be more difficult than they have to be. Sometimes they need to be, and sometimes they should be stressful, but I'm not going to try to make them more stressful than they have to be. So if you follow my system, it will be fine. Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about the policy proposal. So this is, actually, before I say that, let's talk about the final exam. There is no final exam. There is a fourth exam, but it is not cumulative. Also, I will drop the lowest exam grade. So basically, if you do well on the first 3 exams, I'm really expecting you to not take the 4th exam. That's honestly how I want you to do it. Because at the end of the semester, you're going to need to be working on your policy proposal. So I recommend you do very well on the first 3 exams, and then don't take the 4th exam and just work on your policy proposal. So let's talk about what the policy proposal is. So you must select a policy issue of your choice, and we'll talk more about what that is, but as it relates to Texas politics, you know, issues could be like teacher pay or healthcare or conserving, you know, water resources or traffic, you know, congestion. It could be, you know, marijuana laws in the state. It could be the lack of public transportation. It could be whatever. You know, I want you to take some time to think about what policy issue, or if there's a policy issue that you really care about. But yeah, it needs to be related to Texas politics. It can be a national issue. Let's say that. It can be a national issue, but it needs to be taking place in Texas as well. Like, it needs to be taking place in Texas and the nation. Right? Okay, I hope that makes sense. But at any rate, your job for the policy proposal is to select a policy issue of your choice and then do the following. Define the problem, or define the issue, you know, define the problem that you're trying to fix. Number 2, identify possible solutions. You know, so there could be multiple solutions to, you know, figuring something out or solving a policy issue. Come up with a menu of options, basically. And then number 3, you would evaluate the trade-offs and obstacles between those possible choices. You know, what are the pros and cons? Which one is more politically feasible? Would the Democrats support this? Would the Republicans support it? Would, if anybody supports it, would they, you know, risk not being reelected next, you know, election? You know, those are the kind of things that I want you to consider. And then number 4, you know, reach a decision on what you think the best course of action is, and then really just sell it. Make a case for it. I think we should do this because X, Y, and Z, And I know A, B, and C make it hard, but X, Y, and Z still is better. Yada, yada, yada. So I hope that makes sense. So it's a four-part essay thing. I don't know if it's technically an essay or not. You can literally just answer the 4 questions. Like, you can 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just answer them. It doesn't have to be super long, but I don't want it to be super short either. Let's say a page. If you just answer the 4 questions, honestly, you'll have no problem getting to a page. So how about a page, and then anything else after that is gravy. So yeah, we'll talk about this more as we go. This won't be due until December 5th, and I'll make sure I bring it up again and remind you guys again, probably a third of the way through the semester, just so you guys can start thinking about it. But yeah, okay, that's basically what I got for that. Okay, let's talk attendance. It says attendance is required for this course. I guess it's really not, huh? Here's what I do. Attendance is 5% of your grade. I know we don't have in-person attendance, so what I'm going to do is just get on Canvas and check to see that you've logged on to, basically I can see on my end if you have like gone to our course and like mulled around in within Canvas. So every week I'll just look and see if you've logged on for the last week, and if you have logged on for the last week, I'll give you 100 for participation that week. If I see that you haven't logged on for the last week, I will give you a 0 for that week's participation. So I'm gonna update that in the syllabus and post that in the syllabus, so it's has the force of law, more or less. But anyway, that's my policy. If you log in every week, that's just shows me that you're still at least paying enough attention to remember your password and to remember to check the course. So that's how you would maintain a good participation grade in this course. Cool? Okay. So there's one other really important thing that I need to talk about. Let's talk about late work, due dates, things like that. So most things do have due dates. Basically everything has a due date. But some due dates are more firm than others. Exams, policy proposal, those are due when they're due. Especially the policy proposal. I need it done by the 5th because I need time to read them and grade them. Exams they're always going to open online on Canvas on the Monday of exam week and close the following Sunday at 11:59. So you have the entire week to take the exam when it opens. But inquisitive assignments, media analyses, online assignments, let's be real. Yes, I have due dates, but I will accept late work. Right? Yes, I have due dates, but I will accept late work. So what that really means, it's kind of up to you. Basically, after we have moved on, like let's say we start chapter 1 and then next week we start chapter 2. I will mark your inquisitive or your online assignments as zeros if you haven't completed them until they are turned in. Does that make sense? So I will mark them as a 0 after we're done with that section, but it isn't a permanent 0. It's only a 0 until you turn it in. Once you turn it in, then I'll grade it as normal, and I won't even take off points. My policy is you just have to look at your Canvas grade and see that you have a 55 in the class, even though you know and I know that you can just do those assignments and be fine. The point here is that I don't want it to be misleading, and I don't want you to think you have a 95 in the class when you really don't, right? If you don't do the work, you technically get a 0, but if you turn it in, I will accept it. That's my policy. I think it's fair. I don't think it's that confusing as long as you understand. So at the end of this week, I'm going to mark the Chapter 1 assignments as zeros until you turn them in. It's not to punish you, it's just to incentivize you to get your work done, because nobody wants to see that zero hanging over their head. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Now let's just briefly look at the schedule. So we are in week 1 right now. You have an inquisitive for every chapter, and that's why it says chapter 1 through 3 inquisitives and online assignments due 9/19. 9/19 is that's when the exam and the media analysis are due as well. So that is when this would be exam week. This would be when it's due. And then the week of the 20th would be the beginning of Unit 2, which would be this stuff. I hope that makes sense. So for notes, assignments, you will have any online assignments, which I put in quotes, governor tier list, open secrets, political compass. You will have your inquisitives, and then you have your exam and your media analysis kind of rounding off the end of every unit. I hope that makes sense. Exam 1 and media analysis, exam 2 and media analysis, exam 3 media analysis, etc. Final exam due 12/10. Again, if you do well on the first 3 exams, you don't need to take the 4th exam. But it is there. If you bomb one of the exams in the middle of the semester, you can just take exam 4 and it'll be fine. Policy proposal due on the 5th at 11:59. All other assignments are due on the 10th. So the 10th. This is the last day of the semester. So everything is due on the 10th because I will need the next 2 days to put grades in. So this is, I cannot take any work after that. That's what it is. So I'm telling you now. Anyway, I hope all of this makes sense. I hope you guys have a fairly clear picture of what you need to do in this course. To summarize, you need to get your ebook and inquisitive linked up because that is basically 50% of the course. You need to do your inquisitive assignments every week. You need to see if there is an online assignment for that week's chapter. You need to give me some decent essays when it comes to the media analyses. I need you to be diligent when you study for the exam, but if you do it, my system works. And then I need you to start thinking about an important policy issue that you might want to talk about in your policy proposal. And then lastly, I need you to at least log in to our Canvas page at least once a week so you can continue to get participation points. I think that's everything. Oh, so class meetings. We're not going to do Zooms. We're definitely not going to do mandatory Zooms. I will hold office hours. I don't have specific office hours in mind yet. If you guys have a specific time that you would like me to be available, please let me know. I will find a time that we can do, but I'm also available by appointment. So you please just shoot me an email. Honestly, I am on campus pretty much all day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I could always meet you up there. But if not, we can just meet virtually. The point is that all you need to do is send me an email or drop in on some virtual office hours, and I will help you. If you're confused about anything, if you just want to talk in greater detail about the topics, just reach out to me and we can chat. I'm as available as you need me to be. So cool. I hope that makes sense. I hope y'all have a clear picture of what's going on. I'm gonna edit this and post this in a second, and then if you guys have any questions, please reach out. And I look forward to reading y'all's political compasses. So cool. Thank you, folks.